Welcome back to DrumTipTV. One of the things I was excited about doing with this series is to talk about creative drum parts. And hopefully in doing these, it will also help you when you're trying to approach different parts in the studio or if you're in the writing process. And the first one we're going to talk about is a song called House of Cards from the band Radiohead. This album was called In Rainbows, and this album came, I believe this was their 6th studio release, and it's one of my favorite records from them. After the success of OK Computer, they kind of went a little bit more into the electronic realm and had some more programmed parts, and within Rainbows, they kind of came back and married those two a little bit more. And in this tune, what's interesting about this is that the guitar part, which starts the song off, actually begins on the and of 4. And what I thought it would be fun to do is to bring in my good buddy and engineer and producer Paul Smith, and he's going to play the guitar part for us while we first check out what the groove actually was. Now, when you listen to this, what's really cool about it is it sounds basically like a reggae part, the way that they turned out to play it. So let's just check out the guitar part, and then once Paul's been playing, I'm going to fold in again. This starts on the end of 4, so Paul, maybe I'll count us in, and they can hear that. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you notice that the hi-hat is playing 8th notes, the bass drum is dropping on 2 and 4, and we just have one little cross stick at the end of every other measure on the of 4. So the groove by itself sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. I need to correct myself too because that cross stick is actually on the of 3. Not on the of 4. So what's cool about this is that, you know, I think a lot of us, if we're in the writing process and if we heard this pattern, we might just start off by approaching it with more of a straightforward rock groove. Let's listen to what that would sound like and how much it changes the whole texture and shape of the song. So Paul again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So totally different feels, and what I think the feel that the drummer Phil Selway for Radiohead gave to this is that it kind of pulls everything back a little bit and really allows the vocal to stand out, and also there's a lot of really cool atmospheric things that they put in the production as well, that it allows a lot of things to happen in there, whereas if you've got that more driving groove, you're going to be latching onto more of a dance type of thing. Let's try one more groove. This would be if you would take more of just a funky approach, and you'll notice that if you go back and listen to the record, that this would almost sound a little bit too happy or too peppy. So let's see what that sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in a way, if you don't know ahead of time what the vocal is going to be doing and things like that, any one of those might work, but it just really depends on what the vibe is of the tune and what you're looking for. What we're going to do one more time here is we're going to go through all 3 different feels, okay? So what I think we'll do is we'll start off with the original groove, and then we'll go into the more rock-based groove, and then we'll go to the funky one, and then come back to the middle so you can hear the difference of all three. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, really different feels in there. Another thing to notice too is that in the song itself, the part on the actual track, there's no snare drum hit. So that's just another voice that kind of has your ear take attention to that, whereas just playing on the cross stick really allows all the other parts to breathe. And the only time that groove really changes is that there's one little almost pre-chorus part, we could call it. It doesn't happen for very long, but he just goes to playing the cross stick on all of the uhs. So he just goes like, doesn't happen for very long at all. And I also think too, what's really neat about this is if you go and listen to the track, you're going to hear a couple times toward the end of the song where you can tell that he's not really quite sure where they're going to end this, because at one point he kind of stops and you can tell he's sort of feeling his way through, and then that happens maybe once or twice more. So again, creative drum parts, just thinking of different approaches. I highly suggest you check out the original tune for that, House of Cards in Rainbows. I want to thank again Paul for joining me today, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, and please leave some comments below and let us know what you think. Take care.